I'll move on, Mr Davis.
President, my question is for the Minister for Veterans. Yesterday, Minister, you said in relation to Anzac Day ceremonies, we are tracking well and we know we are going to have a successful Anzac Day and everything is fine and we can relax, unquote. Yet today we hear marches in Evelyn, Frankston, Dandenong, Rosebud and Cranbourne have been cancelled due to a lack of information around state government COVID criteria. Will you now concede your dithering and lack of action has forced these cancellations on what is the most important day of the year for the many people who want to honour their family members and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice?
Minister Leane.
No, well, I think, Mr Davis, as far as those particular sub-branches of the RSL deciding what course of action they would like to take, I only aware of that probably when you're aware of it or maybe after you're aware of it. But I'd actually urge those branches to reconsider. We've got over 5 weeks away. The process in registering an event has actually even got easier in recent days, which I think is great. The process of registering an event, Tier 3 events under 1,000 is a matter of getting on a website and registering your event. Tier 2, which actually is under 5,000, is a very similar process. Register the event, but also you need to answer some questions about your particular COVID plan and make a declaration that you'll enact that. And the COVID plan, we see it when we go into the hairdresser. We see it everywhere we go. It's not hard. It's about printing off a QR code. It's about putting up some signs, encouraging people to social distance. So, but taking into account that the concern that some Liberal and National Party members breached with me yesterday, and as I said, it's not for me to be the RSL. The RSL have done this for years, and they can do it again, and they're tracking well. And we've actually spent hours and hours supporting it. But I've asked my department if it helps. There will be this information go out today. If it helps about the change of the rules, how it's easier, I'd urge all branches not to be deterred. It's actually going to be easy. So I'd say to the coalition members, you will get a chance to get your selfie looking all sad when you're putting the reef in front of there, when you push the war widows, when you push the veterans out of your way. When you get there first, you'll get your chance.
Scrolls, you're on the point of order.
I think that's rather insulting, offensive for those members who have got relatives who are ex-servicemen, such as and women, who actually value this day, and for the thousands and thousands of Victorians that value this day, and they expect their members of parliament to be with them. And your offensive, insulting remarks need to be withdrawn, Mr Leane. And I'm asking the President that you ensure that occurs.
Dr Cumming.
Point of order. I also do take offence as well as insult. No, I'm quite insulted, Minister, and I will not take any baiting from the floor from you. I actually request an apology, not just withdrawing the remarks. I expect an apology for your remarks.
On the point of order,
Mr Feehan.
Mr President, the comments from the Minister were indecent in my view. They were offensive, they were insulting, and those of us who have been to Anzac Day, Remembrance Day ceremonies for many, many years are not there. They're not there to get on the telly or have photos in the paper. They are there to pay their respects to people who have given their lives for our freedom. And the Minister owes us all an apology.
Thank you. Thank you. Minister, Minister, can I ask you please to withdraw your comment on the basis I understand this wasn't that behind it, but I'll ask you to withdraw. I ask you to withdraw, Minister. Thank you. Minister.
President, I withdraw as your request. And I notice Mr Davis talks about the most important day for veterans, and I don't particularly agree to that, but every day should be important. And you should be going to your federal colleagues and calling on a royal commission into veteran suicides. You should be, that's how you can help. You should go to your federal, don't pretend one morning a year where you take a selfie and look all sad that that's the end of it. You should be supporting.
I'll use this as a personal example, Minister. My father served in the Second World War. My brother served in the armed forces. They find your commentary, like many others would find your commentary, offensive. And again, stop. The point of order is he needs to withdraw those disgraceful comments about the opposition standing there taking selfies on a very important day to veterans.
Thank you, Ms. Crozier. Thank you. We are clear on this. The Minister, Ms. Atkinson.
On the point of order, I have noticed, Mr. President, on a couple of occasions, particularly in the last few days, that there have been ministers who have reflected on the opposition in their answers, and in fact been quite fierce in some of that criticism. It hasn't simply been a passing remark. Now, under our standing orders for questions, in fact, a minister is not expected to reflect on the opposition. Now, in the context of this, I would think that actually the minister misspoke in the first instance. And I don't think that he meant or understood exactly what damage was done by that statement. I think it was he misspoke. But now to continue to sort of reflect on the opposition is not permitted within the standing orders, and frankly, it ought to desist.
Thank you, Minister. You've already... Oh, Dr. Cummings, sorry.
Mr President, and my point of order is I actually asked for an apology, not just withdrawing the remarks. And President, he withdrew the remarks, but then he went on to be insulting.
Thank you.
And he doesn't seem to be apologetic or sorry for his remarks.
I've already ruled on the matter, and the Minister already withdrew his comment, and I ask Minister to get back to the question, to the answer, and I'll call the Minister, without attacking.
Yeah, look, I can only reiterate what I said from the start. The process has been made easier as we speak every day. There will be over 400 events across the state, which is a great thing, and I think everyone would be happy with that.
Thank you, Minister. Mr Davis, on the supplement.
President, I must say that I too, on behalf of the many veterans, find those comments offensive and insulting. And I do think the Minister should reflect on his comments and make a fulsome apology to the veterans who've been slighted by his commentary. But to the substance of the issue that I want to ask about further, you know, what I got from the Minister's response before he got himself waylaid was that, you know, it's all the fault of the veterans. It's all the fault of the RSL Sub Branches. And I think I urge him to reconsider that. And I say, will you now commit to publicly stating that you will provide all RSL branches with the information they need by the end of the week? Now, you've said you'll put something out, but will you guarantee that no activity will now be cancelled?
Minister.
So Davis asked two quite separate questions there. He asked whether or not all information would be provided by the end of the week, which was very similar to a question that was considered by the Minister yesterday. And then his other question was, will he guarantee all events not be cancelled when, of course, as we've heard, events are a matter for local RSLs. But the point of my point of order is that there were two questions there.
Order. Thank you very much. I uphold the Minister's point of order, and we spoke about it yesterday as well, and we sent an email. So, Mr. Davies, I give you the opportunity on your supplementary to pick one question.
President, I asked that will he provide the information by the end of the week and thereby ensure that there will be no cancellations?
Minister.
Yeah, there'll be information. There's information flow going on today. There'll be continual information flow. As I said, the process isn't that difficult. It's made easier all the time. I'd encourage all RSLs not to be too concerned. It's an easy process, and I think just to be clear about me slighting all veterans, my slight was directed at the coalition MPs. My slight was not like at veterans. And as I said before, if they've only got one day that they think is important to veterans, well, they want to start understanding that there's men and women committing suicide every week.
The Minister is clearly heading down the same track again, and I urge you to caution him on attacking the opposition, which is against standing orders. He needs to be respectful of veterans, but it's against the standing orders to attack the opposition.
Thank you. Look, I thank you. Well, we're attacking and we're asking the Minister not to attack the opposition, but at the same time the opposition interject and invite the Minister to... So please, no further interjection, and the Minister, you finish. Thank you.